What's up, YouTube? Southern Comic Geek coming to you with another comic book haul video. Really tried to outdo myself today. Started off a little small, a little light. How you should do a big feast, right? And then ended up with a bang and a wallop and catching up with some of my goals for 2020. And so let's dive into what I got. As you might notice, with no Monopoly board in the background, I am in a hotel room, and obviously with nothing better to do but to share my time with you, and showing you the comic book hauls for today. And so I started off with a shop called Fantastic Finds. It's located in Dallas, Georgia, somewhere thereabouts. Met up with Dustin from Two Brothers Comic, and so I met up with him and got to talk to him and the shop owner there for a good bit. And picked up mostly new books there. And he reminded me of another shop called Great Escape, which last year, towards the end of the year, I was able to complete several of my runs that I was looking for then at this same shop. So as those runs were completed and other goals started, that type of thing, this time I came back with a vengeance. So generally these are going to be in no certain order because I've already cataloged them into CLZ, already put in there all the pertinent information and rebagged them and boarded them. Yeah. So as you know, I already have the whole Volume 1 Uncanny XMen run. So quite the accomplishment. I already had Volume 5 as well, which is the series that leads into Age of X, right before Dawn of X and House of X, all that kind of stuff. So I already had all that one. And so there was 2, 3, and 4 that I did not have. And I had some of those, but not a lot. And there's not an awful lot of them. I said, hey, what the hey? I'm a completionist, so let me just get those two. So that's what I was able to do. So today I completed volumes 2, 3, and 4 of Uncanny X-Men. So now I have Uncanny X-Men, all issues 1 through whatever. So one goes through 1 through 544, and I have a lot of variant covers in that run, newsstands versus direct back then, and that type of thing. Volume 2 goes through 20, and Volume 3 goes to 20 something, and then let me just look it up on my CLZ app, my handy dandy CLZ app. Not that CLZ is sponsoring this show. But so Uncanny X-Men Volume 3 goes 1 through 35, and then 36, they reissued everything to what it should have been in legacy numbers, and that's 600. So then Uncanny X-Men Volume 4 picks up with number 1 for whatever reason and goes 1 through 19, and then 5 goes 1 through 22. So I was able to complete all of those today, and also might have completed another one. I got to remember once I get to the bottom of the stack. But without further ado, let's dive into these comics. Again, these are in no uncertain order, but Uncanny X-Men 35, Little Rough Love with Cyclops blasting Emma Frost in her diamond form there. I'm guessing that's what that is. Kind of weird. But so is that relationship. Number 34. Number 29. This is the last will. That, if you might recall, when the Phoenix Force took over the various people and the Cyclops ended up with it, he kills Professor X. So this is them reading and that's Jennifer Walters and a lot of other people. Forget this little guy's name. If you remember it, leave it in the comments below. But he's kind of a whatever. Oh, and there's Dupe. There's do. But that was 29. Uncanny X-Men 23. This is during the original Sin deal. That's when they introduced Silk. That's when Thor, I believe, lost the use of his hammer and all that kind of stuff. Uncanny X-Men number 19. Number 18. So this is right after the Phoenix Force has left and they're kind of picking up the pieces. Cyclops has gone on the lam, and he's kind of the bad boy, not the Boy Scout that he had typically been ever since he was created. So this looks like he's kind of in a jam, fixing to get his brains blown out. Spoiler alert, he doesn't. So number 17. In the middle of nowhere. I don't know if this is the nowhere that the collector's at, but who knows. Pretty bad looking cover of Magneto. His white outfit splattered in blood. Number 11. So Magic was one of the mainstay characters in this run of Uncanny X-Men. So it looks like this has something to do with the Sentinels. Mutant must terminate. Morph! Alright, Uncanny X-Men number 10. Yeah, Cyclops, after the Phoenix Force left him, he had his powers were all cattywampus, and they really weren't working correctly. Number 6. Some of these seem to be skipping gaps because I already have them. These are just the ones I picked up to fill those runs. And this is Uncanny X-Men number 20. This is at the end of that Volume 2 run. It's the last issue of that run. Number 19. So that's all the Avengers X. That's when the Phoenix Force came. And the Avengers usually doing more harm than good. Tony Stark splits the Phoenix Force up, and instead of going to one Hope Summers, it goes to the 5. Which included these two little love birds, no pun intended, right here. So I've been giving all this commentary, but I'm at a loss on who this is. Uncanny X-Men number 17. 17. We know who this cat is. Mr. Sinister. I wonder what he's up to. Probably something, you guessed it, sinister. On the little phoenix, like a little bird. Pretty bird, pretty bird. All right, number 15. Number 13. Number 12. Thing versus Namor. It's probably clobbering time. Yep. Number 9. There's a few got skipped. Number 33. Looks like some of the monster. Well, there's Fin Fang Foom. I was going to say some of the monsters of Limbo maybe because there's magic right there, but I don't know what Fin Fang Foom's got to do. How do you say Fin Fang Foom 3 times really fast? You say it correctly anyway. 32. Cyclops beat himself. Always beating himself up over something. Number 31. Looks like there's a little brother spat going on here. Looks like Havoc's going to push his brother off. I'm sure that'll solve something. Number 30. The ladies, as it were. It's like Dazzler, Magic, Emma Frost, probably Husk. Not sure. Rogue. Not sure about the other 2. Number 26. Cyclops beating himself up again. Seems to be a recurring theme in the story of his life. Number 25. This is back on that original Sin stuff. It's a pretty cool looking cover. I'm not sure what it reminds me of, but it reminds me of something. Number 24. Number 22. So this is Brian Michael Bendis's run. I've probably in my other videos been pretty harsh on him about his writings of Superman and some of his other stuff. And I don't really like his all new X-Men that he did when they brought the X-Men from the past into the future or to the present. Didn't really like that at all. But this stuff was okay. I don't know that you can really blame him for Cyclops leaving the Boy Scout mantra to do the bad boy stuff, but he certainly played with it. 20, number 20. We got Inhumanity, Kitty, Emma, the Cuckoos. Is that Carmel? Antipas and Magic. Ladies' Night Out. Inhumanity. That's number 15. Number 14. The fun's trying to play when you play Guess Who. That's what it reminded me of, the Guess Who game. Now this is the volume 4 run, which was done by Colin Bunn, and Greg Land did a lot of the artwork in these. There's number 2, little Mystique Action, also known as Smurfette in Another Life. Number 3, Magneto certainly has a lot of blood on his hands, I'm sure. Number 4, little Psylocke Action. Psylocke was a part of that team, as was her boyfriend at the time, Archangel. And this is, of course, an homage into, is it X Factor 6, first appearance of Apocalypse? So that being Archangel. He was having a little identity crisis, as he is apt to have. Number 7 right here. Number 8, little Phantom Max. Phantom Max is, in my opinion, probably the best thing that came out of Grant Morrison's run on X-Men. Little Nemesis Action with Uncanny X-Men number 9. Looks like he's got Magneto in his sights. Ooh. Of course, Nemesis came from the Age of Apocalypse, and in the Age of Apocalypse, he killed Scarlet Witch, which is Magneto's daughter. And Uncanny X-Men number 10, a lot of little angels flying around. They don't look like they're good angels either. I'd be okay with the bells not ringing and those angels not getting their wings. So, then we got Uncanny X-Men number 11. And if I recall, it has to do with Monette's, or M's, brother Empath. She takes him into her or something like that. Number 12, little Magneto, little boss Magneto action. Trying to be all Hellfire Club on everybody. Hey guys, kind of like what he did in the newer X-Men, where he sat there and said, hey, we're going to own y'all, shut up and pass our money type deal while he's eating a steak in a white suit. Number 13. And number 14. Little Exodus action on there too. And we got 15. Mystique showing back up. Number 17. And this goes into the Inhumans versus X-Men. And it seems like Sabretooth, I don't know if they had a thing going on, or if he was just trying to be a father figure to her, or what the deal was. For a little while, that run. Number 18. Of course, this was Medusa. number 19. Looks like things are about to end for this run of X-Men right there. Team fell apart. All right, so then we got a little Harbinger action. So Harbinger, talking about the 90s era Harbinger. As you might recall, I do have all the Eternal Warriors, Rye, Hardcore, several of the runs like that. So I had Harbinger up to 27, and then I had 29, 30. So I got some more into that run. They had some more at the store, but I was really focusing my stuff mainly on the X-Men, and then also ended up getting some other stuff I'll show you in a minute, and some Batman. Those were the big things that I picked up. So I just picked up to like a storyline stop for Harbinger. And so that's a Harbinger number 28. Number 31. Looks like they've been called into the principal's office. He likes to have that happen. This is Harbinger 32, guest starring the Eternal Warrior. Harbinger number 33, Dr. Eclipse. So before I go any further, I do want to drop this little tidbit. Please consider smashing that like button and also subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so that when videos like this and others drop, you'll be one of the first ones to know. I do appreciate you taking the time, whether you're on quarantine lockdown or you're just kind of chilling with the phone in the recliner. Regardless, thank you for taking your time to watch videos like this. This is giant size, super size annual. This is Uncanny X-Men annual number 12, the Evolutionary War. So I had several of the annuals, and so since I have the regular issues and I had several of the annuals, I said, what the heck, let's go ahead and get all the annuals. So I only need one annual, and I'll have all of the annuals for the first set. And of course, probably the best part of this is the X-Babies. X-Babies! Mojo! Ah! So I don't know if that might be the first appearance of the X-Babies. It might be the important deal there. So I got this at Killer Finds. I think I might have said something different earlier, but it's Killer Finds. Look them up if you're in the greater Atlanta area. And they gave me this. This is Year Zero Universe Handbook for SBX Comics. So Brian Silverbacks, who's an artist here, does some art. He's got this character here that's coming out or is out, and these are, I guess, some other characters. To me, this reminded me of the old Marvel Universe Handbook that you had to go through and see when the person's first appearance was, what their power and skill set were, and all that before the days of the internet. That's how you knew about characters you might not have read about before. So that's what it looked like. So that was pretty cool of him. So I picked up Folklords on a YouTube auction a while back. Picked up the first issue. I was like, it intrigued me enough. I said, well, let me take a shot at the rest of them because I think it's just a miniseries. So I picked up number 3, which reminded me, these babies in the tree, reminds me of Rockabye Baby in the Treetop, if you remember the nursery rhyme. It's like, what are the babies doing in the tree anyway? What kind of sickos put their babies in trees? Reminded me of that. But yeah, hey, that's just me. But this is issue number 3. For whatever reason, they didn't have 2, but I went ahead and picked up 3, 4, and 5 on that. And I think 5 is the last issue, so or certainly the newest issue. And so I'll probably pick up 2 somewhere so I can finish that up. And since they had a lot of newer issues and such, and wanted to kind of give some love out to a comic shop that's been able to stay open, at least in a limited capacity during these times, I went ahead and picked up the Dark Phoenix alternate covers that I had not gotten, which included Excalibur, because Excalibur is the one X title that I had not collected. I got number 1, but it fell off and never got the other stuff. So I went back and picked up the Excalibur number 6. I was tempted, because I am a completionist, to go ahead and get 2 through 4, just so I would have all of them through at least that point to kind of give me an idea of the story, because somebody else had told me that Excalibur was a pretty nice read. We'll see. Maybe. So this is variant number 6. This is, of course, when she asked him to take off his visor. Now, it doesn't, of course, end well later on, but for then, they have a moment. So that's Excalibur number 6. And Excalibur number 5 is a pretty cool cover. I believe Philip Tan does this cover. Pretty cool looking Dark Phoenix there. Then Fallen Angels number 5. I had the regular Fallen Angels, but I didn't have this one. Fighting against the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. Then X-Force 5. This is X-Men captured by the Hellfire Club, and the Phoenix fights the White Queen in a psychic duel. Little did they know they'd be fighting over Cyclops later on, huh? And then X-Men 5 is the number 1. It's where White Queen defeats Wolverine, and before capturing the whole team. That was back because White Queen made her debut back in that storyline there. So at Killer Finds, I was able to, they had a dollar bin box, so I found a couple of goodies there. X-Men Gold number 19. Cable 152. Phoenix Resurrection number 2. And Phoenix Resurrection number 1. This is the lenticular cover, I guess. Doesn't really change in anything else, but it kind of looks a little different, and it's scratchy. Picked up a big boy. Yep, that's right. Hulk 181. As you can see right here, it's probably a 9/8 candidate. Not really. Yeah, so this is the facsimile cover. Picked this up because I wanted to read it. I do not have a Hulk 181 yet. We'll see how things transpire there. But if I did, I'd probably end up getting it already slabbed. Who knows? But anyway, picked that one up. And I picked up, whatever reason, I never got into Conan. Because back in the day, I was all big into swords and all that kind of stuff. But I picked up Conan Serpent War number 1 in a dollar bin. In a shop in Decatur, Alabama. And so I said, well, let me just go ahead and pick up the rest of these and see if I can get it. And I tried to get the connecting covers. This is number 2 and number 3, respectively. These connect. But I think there's one for 4, and there's an alternate cover for 1. So a little Moon Knight action. But unfortunately for 4, they did not have that cover there. So, and I got the facsimile for 182. So this is like the second cameo, because most people refer to Giant Size X-Men as Wolverine's second appearance, but I think Wolverine actually makes a kind of a "hey, I'm out of here, see you later" type deal. But that's a cameo, not a full appearance, right? For all you guys that have 180, you know what the real first appearance is. So I picked up Vampire State Building number 1 off of eBay auction, or YouTube auction rather, for about $1. Some other books, and so it was interesting enough. I went ahead and got the other ones too. Number 2. That guy looks like he got caught in a bad place. Number 4. Like King Kong climbing up there. And I got number 3. I wasn't able to get. Seems like there was an homage cover to Infinity Gauntlet and maybe some other ones. Oh, the Spider-Man 1 I saw. They didn't have them there though. All right. So, was able to pick up a bunch of Batmans, and so I've been kind of toying with this Batman run. Don't know if I'll ever make it like I did with Uncanny X-Men, because, as you know, Batman 1 is even bigger than X-Men 1, certainly. But with that said, that doesn't mean I can't have like 500 to 700 or 300 to 700, something like that. So, 691, 690. Well, Tony Daniels art on those, and 689. Andy Kubert action on that cover. Pretty sick looking cover there. 687. So these kind of jump around. I was trying to get ones around that I had a little decent run of and try to fill in the gaps there. Like I said, with Batman, I could have done some more damage, but I said, hey, look, I'm going to go ahead and complete the X-Men stuff because I know they got it here, and we'll work on Batman another day to that degree. So 660. 659. Looks like Batman's having a bad day. 654. And that looks like, I'm almost positive it is, just the way it looks, and that signature. It looks like Mark Brooks cover right there. And then this is right after Jason Todd comes back, which we all know is the best Robin. And Jason Todd comes back, and so Batman's still trying to come to grips, or they're both trying to come to grips with each other, I guess. And so this is whole under the Red Hood stuff. 648, 647, 646, 644. And the Joker tells us that we're the ones upside down, silly. And then 642. Killer Croc. And then we got 634. And then we got 640. So, yeah, this goes on and on and on. I picked up 2 sets of boards and bags because I was out at the house as well, and knew with all this stuff that I was going to want to reboard and bag everything. And I'm probably I should have picked up a third board and bag after I got through with all this stuff. So Exo Man-O-War number 31. Number 30, a little Solar. Number 32. Somebody died. Not sure who. 33. Chaos Effect was kind of, I think, the second big crossover event that Valiant tried to do. Unity being the first. And Unity, from my understanding or recollection, went over well, and I know it was really well written. But the Chaos stuff, by then, all the good folks had kind of drifted out of Valiant. It was kind of on the downhill slope. Number 34. Number 35. Number 36. 37. Looks like the suit's rejecting him. Checking out this lady. He seems upset about it. I guess I would be too. Don't reject me, suit. Of course, back then, the suit was not sentient, meaning that it didn't talk back and forth to him like it does nowadays. So this is number 38. Number 39. And number 41. Unfortunately for these exos, when they started getting into the 40s and 50s, they were not as full of those there. Started getting to be rarer and rarer, lower print counts. 42, this is Birthquake. That was another deal they did. And of course, that's Shadow Man. Number 46. Pretty cool looking cover here with Bart Sears drawing Exo and Ron Mars, who is also known for writing Silver Surfer back in the day, doing that. This is after Valiant had been bought by Acclaim, so it was kind of on the downhill slope there. But number 51, number 53, 54, 55, 57, 58, 59, and 60. Wow, we're finally at the bottom of all that stacks. So yeah, it was a huge haul today, and so I was glad I was able to weasel out a little time there to get to check out those comic shops. So I need 18 more to complete my Exo Manowar full set of Volume 1. So and was able to complete, like I said, volumes 2, 3, and 4 of Uncanny X-Men. So yeah, so those are my finds. Tell me down in the comments below, what do you think? What are you collecting? It does seem that New Comic Book Day is going to be starting up back pretty soon, and so some of these comic book budget dollars that are going over here to fill in these older runs will probably go back to some of the newer books. Some of the other newer books I've decided I'm not going to pick back up when they come back around. Amazing Spider-Man being one of them. I've decided to kind of liquidate most of my Amazing Spider-Man stuff. I've sold a good bit of it off. Just not only making room in my collection, but just kind of trying to focus my collection a little bit. With what you saw tonight, you might say, well, he really focused his collection much. Well, yeah, I mean, the X-Men has always been a thing, but I'm pretty much coming to the end of that with those sets being done, unless I collected a variant cover here or there that I saw that I liked and I wanted to pick up. The Valiant stuff too, because the Valiant stuff, they don't have all the titles that they used to have anymore. I do pick up Bloodshot Riot, and XO seems to be pretty good. Only the first issue, but we'll see. But the old stuff, I'm pretty much coming to an end of that too. So I'm kind of looking towards what's the next best big thing. I've got a want list like all of us do. Hulk 181 and Hulk 180 are certainly on that want list, and we'll see how things go there. Who knows? Who knows how it'll turn out? But we are just in April and already have accomplished a lot despite these circumstances. So I'm certainly thankful for that. Hopefully all of you and yours are keeping safe out there. And we'll soon be able to get back and resume some sense of normalcy in your life. But until the next time, keep reading and keep collecting. Adios.